5:32. I have been up since like 4 something. But I'm just now getting to my word. So come in Bible study with me. Now, usually when I'm studying, I first read the context of the entire chapter. So I read it completely and fully to see what's really going on. And as you can see, I'm like looking through my iPad to look up certain keywords. I also have the concordance right by me. And then right now I'm looking at the Bible commentary to get more of an understanding of what's going on. So the whole point in me reading the first chapter is to just get the context. And then once I get the context, then I start taking notes and highlighting and going through the scripture to allow it to apply to me. Right, it's only been about 15-20 minutes. I've been studying Isaiah 40 because our scripture for yesterday was Isaiah 40:29 through 30. So I try to study the whole chapter to get the context. So I started it yesterday, and I really appreciate this verse, which is, He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and young men utterly fall. But then verse 31 says, But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They should walk and not faint. So verse 31, I'm pretty familiar with, but I never read the whole entire chapter of Isaiah 40, like in one, all together at one time. And when I go through it, it's very interesting because in the beginning, he's talking about comforting his people, speaking comfortably to Jerusalem. And I replaced Jerusalem with myself because coincidentally he also said, and cry unto her, which I felt like he was talking to me, that her iniquity is pardoned and that she has received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. So I was just thinking of myself in the sense that, just going through that process of working with the Lord to heal from things, to wrestle with him through things, and feeling that I'm getting to a place where he's actually downloading different things in my mind, different ways of thinking in my mind, as a result of me working with him to change old patterns of behavior. My allergies are a mess, so please, I hope you can look past that. And it says, The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, that makes straight in the desert highway for our God. So I think about the brain a lot, and when I see prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God, I think about these pathways in our brain, and sometimes it's very difficult for you to act the right way or do the right thing because you don't have the pathways to do it. Like, you don't have the resources to know how to handle a particular situation, or how to think about a particular situation, or how to feel, because maybe you have a pattern of behavior that you have been doing all your life. And When I see make straight in the desert a highway for our God, I see that the Lord wants to create new patterns of behavior, new ways of thinking, new pathways. Now that you have laid yourself down and humbled yourself, worked through the things with him, the old ways of thinking, now he wants to create new pathways. Every valley shall be exalted. The valleys are the low areas. And every mountain shall be made low. And so the high areas, the prideful areas, he wants to bring down. And the places that are low in our mind, that we are unsure about, the depression, the anxiety, those low places of thinking and understanding, he wants to add to those areas. And he wants to make those rough places plain, those crooked paths straight. So I just see here a healing and a renewing of the mind. And then it goes into God standing forever, God's hand being strong, his majesty and power, and idols are no comparison to God and the greatness of God. And so, you know, from there, I just deduced that the only way to be able to get this way of thinking, to get a deep understanding of who we are, why we do what we do, how to heal, is to seek God, because God is all-knowing, all-powerful. Anything you want to know has to come, that's truth, has to come from God. And, you know, it's interesting, I kept reading, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. So I looked that up in the Bible commentary because I was wanting to know really what that meant. And it said, Lebanon is not sufficient. Compare Psalms 50, 10 through 12. The Hebrews made much of sacrifices in their religion, but if all the wood of the great forests of Lebanon were used as fuel for a mighty sacrifice composed of all the beasts that live there, the oblation would not be commensurate with the majesty of God. So our works are nothing in comparison to God. There's nothing that we can do to be good enough. We have to rely on God for everything. We can't change. Can a leopard change his spots? We cannot change our own spots. We cannot change ourselves. Only God can change us. So I hope you got something from this lesson. Again, we have a scripture writing challenge that I put out every single month. I have not been putting it out, but I will put it in the description, and I will try to send it to you at the beginning of every month. I'm sorry it's late. And you can look at the scripture and hopefully read the entire chapter to get the context and allow God to work in your heart the way he is working in mine. God bless.